Now, in case you've forgotten, there's been quite a hoo-ha about Christian Pulisic not playing for the US men's national team this summer. Of course, it wasn't just the Gold Cup, it was these two friendlies. He said that he wanted to play in those ties. Landon Donovan called him out, obviously, saying, where's the dedication? Why don't you want to play for your national team? Let's just take you back, shall we, to Pulisic's response, in particular to Landon Donovan.
Of all things, you can talk about my performances, whatever you want, but to question my commitment, especially towards the national team, in my opinion, that's way out of line towards the second half and towards the end of the season. Yeah, my body just started talking to me and my mind, and then I started to think what is best and what is going to be best for me leading into next year and going into the World Cup. And was that to play 8 more games and then get no rest at all, go straight into preseason and then grind another year and go straight into the World Cup? That's not what I felt was best for my body. But the only point that I would make with that is that I did want to be a part of at least the 2 friendlies. I did speak with the coaches and I asked, and I wanted to be a part of the team in whatever capacity I could. And they said no. They said they only wanted 1 roster, and that's coach's decision. I fully respect that. I didn't understand it, but it is what it is. I wanted to be a part of that.
Player no need to understand or not understand. Player need to listen and to stick with our plan. They cannot dictate the plan, because if not, okay, we swap the position. No, when I signed my contract in the federation, I am the head coach. I am not a mannequin, and look, that is how we are, and that is my culture about football. I grow up with a ball in mind, and I know very well. He explained why he only wanted to be involved in 2 games and not in the World Cup, and that is very, I respect and I understand him. But I don't need that he understand our decision, because my position is, I am 53 with a lot of experience in football, in soccer, and I was player before coach. And if you don't want to understand, I think it's really obvious. It's easy to understand that I want a roster to prepare 2 games, because for me, the Gold Cup is a really important competition.
Jules and Frank with us. Shaka, I want to start with you. What do you make of Pochettino's response?
Odd.
Is it not honest?
No, it's honest, but odd because it's not needed. Listen, I get it. Christian Pulisic said or feels his body needs a rest, both physically and mentally. He felt he needed a break, and that's totally fine. He then calls the coaching staff and says, well, I could probably feature in the 2 friendlies, but I'd prefer not to play the entire Gold Cup. Again, I think he's well within his rights to say that. I totally understand that. Now, Pochettino's position is, we're going into the Gold Cup. I'm using these 2 friendlies as a warm-up to the Gold Cup. If you're not in the Gold Cup, then why play the friendlies? I'm going to use the squad that I'm going into the Gold Cup with. And that's it. That's as simple as it is. So I say odd because he goes into detail that I don't think is at all necessary. Talking about he's 53, he used to be a coach and then a player.
But isn't it good to hear him say, look, I don't need the players to understand my decision. It's my decision. Shut up. I'm in
say
charge.
that. And my point is, just say that. That is exactly his position. It is his decision who he takes into those friendlies, given that they're rolling right into the Gold Cup. You don't need to say any more than that. That's your coach's position. And I just feel, and in Pochettino's defense, that kind of long answer and detail to it is born out of this kind of back and forth that's been going on for the last few weeks that really shouldn't involve Pochettino. You have ex-players casting these criticisms at Pulisic, him answering back, and all of a sudden Pochettino feels that he needs to be a little bit more elaborate in his explanations than I think is needed. And then but by doing that, I think you're putting things on the record that may very well come back to haunt you. Now, I don't know how or when, but the fact remains, you're going into a Gold Cup, you have 2 friendlies right before, you play the squad that's going into the Gold Cup. End of story. There's nothing more that needs to be said there.
Frank?
Yeah, I think when you give too much explanations is when you have to justify yourself, and he doesn't need to. As Shaka said, he's the head coach, and therefore you just make a statement. I say what I say, and Pulisic has to listen to me. We have a medical staff who decides whether he has to come or not, and we decided that he had to come. He didn't want, so I took my decision. Bye-bye. That's it. But no need to go in too much deeply into explanations. Otherwise, again, you justify yourself and you put yourself in a position where you're not sure your decision can be the right decision, and you open a door. So it's useless for me.
Jules, we know you've just moved into a new house. Do you think you'll be using the same fan setup that Pulisic has, which still, I see that video and I don't quite know how that works?
Definitely not. I mean, I'm not a fan guy anyway, to be fair. And which is true, how can Christian Pulisic want to decide what games he's playing for the national team? Where have we seen this before? You don't decide, oh, I want to play this game, I don't fancy this game. I would like to be there, not for this though. This is not what players do, I'm sorry. This is not how it works. And then for him to say he didn't understand why Pochettino didn't just select him for the 2 friendlies and not for the Gold Cup. Well, it's not hard to understand why that was not on. 1, because you don't choose your games. 2, because, as the boys just explained, you've got a squad and you've got 2 friendlies to prepare for the Gold Cup and then the Gold Cup. You're not going to have different players just for the 2 friendlies and then a different roster for the Gold Cup. What's so hard to understand if you're Christian Pulisic? And that's why I think Pochettino got really rattled by I didn't understand why the coaches didn't pick me for the 2 friendlies. And that's when he went into such a lengthy response, really. Where I agree with Shaka, he didn't need to really, but I think he got really rattled by Pulisic saying that he didn't understand why he was not picked for the 2 friendlies.